All right, here we go for learning target 3, focusing on the difference between period and group within the periodic table. When discussed, we talked about periods and groups looking at both horizontal and vertical sections of the periodic table. So we want to be able to differentiate whether we're talking about periods or groups with each of those directions. Here's my hint that I like to give with this one. Periods reminds me of this guy right here, punctuation at the end of a sentence. And when we think about how a sentence looks, we know a sentence reads horizontally versus vertically. So I always remember, because I find a period at the end of a sentence, periods are the horizontal section on the periodic table. And you can give yourself a little reminder here that they're like a sentence. So we want to mark that on to our periodic table. So if periods are horizontal, that means groups are vertical. Meaning I find those on the columns or the up and down section of the periodic table. Now each group and period is designated something different related to either energy levels on an atom or valence electrons on an atom. Again, I turn to my reminder about the punctuation mark. Punctuation mark is a circle. So essentially, what periods are telling us about on the periodic table is an element's energy levels. So periods represents the number of energy levels for one atom. And energy levels we're going to find has a couple names like rings or circles, again matching up to that reminder about the period. You might also hear them called shells. So lots of different names there. So marking up my use of rings and energy levels here. So periods are running down the side. So if I'm looking at magnesium, it's got 3 energy levels for period 3. Or bromine over here has 4 for period 4. Going across the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are our group numbers. Group number is representing the number of electrons in just the outermost energy level. Not the total amount of electrons, but the number in the outermost ring. And those electrons have a special name that we'll be using quite a bit this week. Those are known as valence electrons, our other must-use word from the list. So again, if I'm looking at an example like silicon, I know it has 4 valence electrons, or chlorine would have 7 valence electrons. So here you're doing a little bit of practice looking at group number and period number on your periodic table for these 2 elements, magnesium and bromine.